Schopenhauer on genius. Why the most talented people suffer the most. There's a story we tell about exceptional people. That they're talented, and it's a gift. That seeing more is good enough, feeling more is good enough, creating more is good enough, for whatever else life takes. Schopenhauer devoted much effort to proving the wrongfulness of this story. In Genius Universe, genius isn't about being smart or technically proficient. The word genius is used for a particular amount of intellect over and above what is needed by the will. In human beings, the intellect is well proportionate to the will, and the will is just as large as it must be to negotiate desire, to seek satisfaction, to live. The mind is a tool. The user is the will. The genius has expanded beyond the will in the genius. It has excess capacity. Once the needs of the will are fulfilled, the attention has nowhere to go but back to the person who made it. When the requirements of the will are fulfilled, the attention has nowhere else to go but back to the person who made it. So it bends outward to the texture of life, to which ordinary perception that is always in service of desire never pauses. The common man lives in a world wrapped in a coat of utility. All the information is pre-processed as relevant to be relevant, or irrelevance to be irrelevant. You are not weighed down by all the things you take in due to your will continually filtering. The filter on the genius is less thick. The world comes full circle, more intensely, more and more of it at higher resolution. That's what makes the art special. It's also what makes everyday life almost impossible to live. The genius is constitutionally unfit for the practical life, not because they don't know how to do things. But practical life does demand a constant calculation of advantage, a constant management of impression, a forward lean of ambition, which will require a tightly coupled intellect to the agenda of the will. The genius's intellect never gets into that coupling, continues to intrude into perception for its own sake. In the middle of the problem they are supposed to solve, the problem itself becomes interesting in such a way that it takes them off solving the problem. This is the distraction that the world knows. It is the nature of the condition, as Schopenhauer says. There's the isolation as well. And here he is being his most honest self. People who are nearby notice nothing when the genius notices something that is urgently interesting, profoundly moving. You create the art, write the book, write the music. In that shape, and other people get that and feel recognized, sometimes centuries later. But in the daily life, in the room, in the conversation, loneliness isn't a problem, it's a system. Constructed with the gap between what you perceive and what the available company is perceiving. Schopenhauer was well acquainted with this. The more one can perceive, the more one can suffer. The same to the instrument that receives beauty, receives pain. The man or woman that is crying with music is the same man or woman that is crying to no end at the sight of others cruel. The same depth of perception that is responsible for the art makes the wound deeper. This isn't weakness. This is the price of the aperture being wider. This is the part that no one else so clearly adds to Schopenhauer's language. The genius is more affected than the normal man is. And the genius also enjoys the only true relief from suffering. His philosophy speaks of the moments in which the will falters and pure perception asserts itself, both simultaneously. These are the same, the wider aperture, the thinner filter, the mind which flees into pure perception. That is the gift, that is the wound. Schopenhauer's account tells of there never having been two. It was always the same opening, both ways, looking both ways.